So I can't believe we finally seen it. After all this time, we finally got to see the strongest Bankai in all of Bleach showcased for the first time in anime with Bleach's 1,000-Year Blood War episode 6, Captain Commander Yamamoto versus, well, do we say Yhwach? Oh, I forgot how to pronounce his name. Yhwach. Is it really Yhwach? This episode in general was easily the most action-packed episode, easily the most epic episode, and probably yet again the best episode of Bleach's 1,000-Year Blood War. I've already said that a couple of different times, but 6 episodes deep, and they didn't come here to mess around at all by any means. Between the art and indeed with episode 6, the animation, it was freaking incredible. And it's kind of crazy to think that, dog, with every episode of the original Bleach anime, 366, is it 60? I want to say 66, 360 plus episodes of Bleach, and yet it took for the 1,000-Year Blood War for us to finally see what the Captain Commander Yamamoto is made of. And God, talk about psychological warfare, talk about tricking your opponent, talk about just all of the above. And a part of me is even torn, to be honest with you. A part of me is even torn. As amazing and epic as this episode was, as awesome, all of that good stuff, a part of me feels like, man, I wish this episode would have gone for like 2 episodes straight or something, just getting full-on war and mayhem from the Bankai, from all sides of the Bankai, because fam, this episode, it's kind of crazy how it feels like, yeah, to a certain degree, I guess it's going fast, but more so that it's like, yo, I remember vividly experiencing all of these moments in the manga, and in my mind, it's hard to separate the fact that, dog, this moment right here alone should have been a whole episode, this moment, because it's already ingrained in my mind of how epic it is, but the anime took it to just new heights that I've never seen before in Bleach, in terms of, yo, dog, that's a power you don't want to mess with. Like, I've seen, you know, so many powers throughout the years or whatever, but this right here demonstrated that when Kubo wanted to show exactly what the strongest can do, he made sure that you had no doubts in your mind. Oh, that's the strongest, okay? And it kind of makes me wonder, dog, why didn't Captain Commander go up against Aizen with this ferocity? You could throw the argument, you know, Aizen's Shikai was something ridiculous back in those days, or even now. But yeah, it makes me question, like, dog, this is the type of power that we don't need no final Getsuga, nothing. You hit Aizen or you hit anybody with this level of ferocity that this Bankai Zanko no Tachi can do. And yeah, I don't see anybody surviving. But honestly, if it wasn't for the massive ploy that went down in this episode, there wouldn't be any more of a war. Like, legit, this was, the gauntlet is dropped. This is no jokes, no games, because talking about it, let's talk about it. The Bankai, there's first of all multiple layers to this Bankai. There's east, south, west, and I believe there was north as well, but we definitely saw Captain Yamamoto's Bankai is a cocktail of nothing but mayhem. One of them is it conceals all of the flames, which is like, just imagine a volcano pretty much all within one singular sword. Another one is this dude goes 15 million degrees Celsius to the point that if you even touch him, you're gonna just evaporate. Pretty much Yhwach has to use the bloop vein in order just not to disintegrate right there. He's basically constantly healing his entire body as this whole thing is going on, just so that he don't turn to ash. And then on top of that, you got, he can create the Walking Dead with his Bankai, creating all of these corpses of fallen soldiers, and also psychologically mess with you because he's recreating some of the people that Bach was cool with initially to begin with. Like, if this isn't the most broke, hacks, but yet epic Bankai in all of Bleach, what is? Like, dog, yo, Aizen Shikai was fire, tricking people, all of that good stuff. We've seen so many different Bankais, but this is top tier. This is why Captain Commander Yamamoto got the right to be Captain Commander. Ain't nobody in the Seritei even close to what he displayed in this episode, and it's just kind of jarring to a certain degree that somebody at the caliber of Captain Yamamoto was duped, even with all of the tenacity and ferocity that he threw forth, because that also kind of leads into as well that Zaraki was duped, because pretty much the entire battle, it's almost a Fox battle. And I remember in the manga maybe not feeling as like holy cow, but still kind of shocked at the same time that yeah, we really didn't get a Captain Commander Yamamoto versus Yhwach battle, nor did we get Zaraki versus him as well. Essentially this Lloyd Sternritter, what was it, Y, is able to exactly replicate Bach to the point so much so that not only Zaraki but even the Captain Commander didn't realize these last 2 episodes, oh, we wasn't fighting him. Like, that wasn't the actual leader of the Quincy's all along. And this dude, Royd, played it very well, if you think about it, because there's parts in this episode that you could throw the argument, wait a minute, hold on, something is not right here. This doesn't make much sense, because if that is indeed not Bach that is fighting the Captain Commander when the south part of the Bankai and all of the zombies is attacking or whatnot, he shouldn't even be either knowing who these people are or as freaked out about these people coming back, because that's not Bach himself. You could throw the argument, well, maybe this Sternritter was around during Bach's era, so he remembers these people. Or you could throw the argument as well that maybe he's become such a great replica and clone, taking up the likeness so much so that it even takes in memories. So he was feeling like Bach's memories there when he was experiencing those corpses or whatnot, because that right there could be a little bit of a misfire. But my god, dog, let's talk about Sakuga. How many people have been screaming, hey, you know, the fluidity of the animation. You got it in this one, dog. When Yamamoto is maneuvering, going at it with Bach, breaking his sword and everything, like, yeah, this is top of the line animation. This is pretty much the peak of power that we've seen throughout the entirety of Bleach. And it's just so freaking badass. Like, I can't stress enough. Dog took like 15 million degrees of flames, put it in his sword, then put it in his body, then rose a freaking army of the dead, so to speak, to attack. Like, this honestly could have even been 2 episodes. These are those moments where I'm not even gonna cap. I would have been okay with like the old Studio Pierrot, like, yo, it's gonna be like an episode and a half of the Army of the Dead alone or something like that. Like, you know how back in the days certain aspects like this would be massively long. I wouldn't have been mad at it at all, because this was, I can't stress enough, just like damn near the epitome of epicness. Like, this is absolute epicness. Although you gotta throw the question is, how much epic is any of this if that really wasn't Bach? If that really wasn't the Quincy leader that Yamamoto was slaying this entire time, if that was the Quincy leader and he wasn't down there trying to politic with Aizen, you bozo trying to politic with Aizen, what's wrong with you though, you crazy. But if that was the Quincy leader, would he have fared the same? Would Captain Yamamoto's flames have been able to really get him down? Would he have won a straight up one-on-one battle between the two? Or it's only because that wasn't Bach, or it's only because Bach manipulated and played Captain Yamamoto that they were able to get the job done? Because remember, nobody tried to steal the Bankai, and Bach pretty much explains that the reason why nobody else tried to do it is because nobody could contain the epic and insane strength that this Bankai has, which rightfully so. And also getting the history of the Quincy, like, that's what makes it even more so meaningful with this episode, understanding that 1,000 years ago pretty much the Seritei slaughtered the Quincy, and it was 200 years ago, like, yo, they're gonna rise up again, that they attacked more so people that like are linked closely anyway to Uryu, because basically this has been an ongoing problem of these two type of people that have issues with one another that has been spanning again for over 1,000 years now. And even the cutbacks between Yamamoto in his prime and Yamamoto now, like, this was absolutely epic. But again, it makes me question, like, how are people feeling out there? I want to know. Personally, I absolutely loved the episode. I thought it was very, very, I guess you would say, a break away from typical storytelling. The fact that you thinking this entire time, like, yo, this is bro mano a mano, you know what I'm saying? The top of the good, the top of the bad, going at it. You got Captain Commander, you got Yhwach, you got everything needed for it to be epic. But when you find out that that wasn't him all along, he maneuvered and tricked Captain Commander Yamamoto, does that change how you feel about it? Again, it doesn't do it for me. I'll just be honest with you. It's just straight up, there's nothing changing. This was freaking epic from top to bottom, and also proves something that maybe some people was feeling. Maybe some people weren't feeling like this dude right here, this Quincy leader, is the guy. This is the main villain. This is the one that surpasses Aizen. Maybe some people were feeling like, yo dog, we just came from like one of the greatest villains and we got this guy. This episode right here should put you on that. Yeah, maybe you spent a lot of time with Aizen, but look what this dude is capable of. Look what him and his crew did in this short amount of time. We've 6 episodes deep into this new arc, and they've already decimated the Seritei, outmaneuvered the captain commander, and seemingly killed him. He looked like he was chopped in half at the end of this episode. What's going on here? And honestly, my favorite moment, well, no, I don't even want to say my favorite moment because I really appreciated and adored the action pieces. But I did love, and I was very, I guess, intrigued, so to speak, when we see the scene that Bach basically went down there to politic with Aizen to see if he could potentially recruit him, realizing that, dog, yo, I beat Captain Commander Yamamoto. That's going to be great. And, you know, we're sealing away Ichigo. We're covering all of our tracks. There's one dude I don't want to tango with. There's one dude that he pretty much has the same type of hatred I got for these motherfuckers anyway. Let me see if I can recruit him, Sosuke Aizen, and pretty much it was worthless banter because it ain't really accomplished much. Now I'm wondering, there's something from the manga that I'm hoping wasn't cut. I'm hoping it's supposed to happen after. I didn't check to double check that they didn't miss the scene or whatever. But Aizen, as he's there tied up down there, pretty much does something to Bach. Aizen actually has made a move already, and I'm not sure if they skipped out on that. I hope they didn't. Not that I'm spoiling, because I'm telling you, hey, Aizen's gonna do something, but he does manage to do something even while being tied up there, and I hope that they're not skipping out on that because that is key. But that is freaking epic that the new villain tried to recruit the old villain and basically is like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, dog. Like, they got me tied up here right now. I don't got time for you. Just move. Out with your lad. But that scene was awesome. Probably should have gave better art and animation. Well, not animation because he doesn't move, but they should have made Aizen look mystical or something because, dog, it's Aizen and Bach. And this whole episode was everything that fans have been screaming about for the last decade of why Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War is epic, why it needs to be animated, why it's going to look awesome. This episode entailed, from stealing the Bankai, seeing the Bankai, going to visit Aizen, them two and their hatred, the history of the Shinigami and the Quincy from 1,000 years ago. Again, the art and animation, like the music, everything about this episode, even the freaking sound effects for the fire as Captain Yamamoto is walking all engulfed in flames and whatnot. All of that was just perfect. Like, even the sound effects of the flames was like, yo, it sounds like this shit is really hot. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm definitely curious as to what a lot of you guys think. How are you feeling about Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War? What do you think about this guy? Do you feel like it's fair? Like, I guess that's one of the big questions I want to ask. Do you feel like it's fair to give the W, to showcase Bach as like, yo, dog, he's a top villain because he defeated Captain Commander Yamamoto, or considering the fact that he basically tricked him into showing his Bankai to everybody, fighting against Lloyd, and ultimately that's the only reason why Bach was able to catch the W, simply because he tricked them. And does that make him a good villain? Does that make him on par with Aizen? The fact that he was able to maneuver, be down there with Aizen, have a battle with Zaraki and Captain Yamamoto, and not even be present for none of it until just now? Or does that make him a coward and a weakling? You could throw the argument that there's some cowardly aspects on maybe both sides, I guess you could say, like the whole thing of, you know, creating the loved ones out of the skeletons and shit like that, Walking Dead type of deal. Like, that was probably a little bit of a low blow, but look at everything that this dude did, tricking him and maneuvering through. Like, yeah, there's dirty stuff on both sides, but you could throw the argument that, dog, yeah, you watch Yabaha, he pulled one of the most biggest scams of all time, dog. He defeated the Seritei and wasn't even present just by maneuvering. And your thoughts and expectations, is this the best episode of Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War thus far? And do you think they're going too quick, too slow? Like, your overall thoughts. Honestly, this felt like this is going to be going down as like a classic Bleach episode to me. Maybe that's just me. That's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Subscribe and hit that bell to get more. Yeah.